Ladies and gentlemen, fellow human, welcome to another episode of Disorganized Productions. Today we have a very special guest. His name is Stijn Focus, and he is the jar of the Greyhorn Pagans.com. We're going to talk about paganism, mystics, esoterics, all that kind of stuff that really fascinates and interests me, and hopefully you also. So please, a warm welcome for Stijn.
Yeah.
Stijn, welcome to Disorganized Productions.
Yeah, thanks,
Um,
man. Thanks for the invitation.
yeah, we scheduled very fast. That was really awesome. I talked to Joost, which is a friend of mine. I did 3 podcasts with him. He said, "Yeah, just catch him up with that because you have a podcast on the 11th of January, if I'm correctly."
Um, I I put it a bit forward in the schedule, so it actually releases by the end of this month, by the end of November.
Wow.
I thought, since he's like coming out with his book and everything, and he also kind of wants to use it as promo material. It'd be nice if it's actually like out when his book is out.
Right. Please introduce yourself to the audience, Stijn.
With pleasure, yeah. Name is Stijn. I go by Stijn Fox on the interwebs because I used to be a edgy, what is it? Edgy conspiracy theorist.
Oh,
Way too obsessed with Anonymous and the whole hackers thing and whatever. Not that I'm ever was ever that good with computers, but hey, yeah,
hello, cat.
I'm here. Yeah, it's my
Oh,
my
look at that.
my
What's
kitty
her name?
co-host,
His name?
Timmy.
Timmy. Because red cats are always male, right? Most of them.
Most of them, yeah, I believe so.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry to interrupt
and
you.
he's my my kitty co-host.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Your
whenever
slide
I,
beer.
well, I mean, he's bad enough with 4 limbs, let alone 8. Um, no, but every time I do a show, whether it's as a guest or a host, he has to be there. So,
Oh,
um, yeah, host of the Greyhorn Pagans podcast, Jarl of the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans, so head of the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans, a tribe um, that I found together with my wife. Um, After just years and years of being in other groups and trying and just not getting there, not getting the teachings that I wanted to, not getting the connections that I wanted to, or um, people getting really up in their ego.
mm-mm.
Like it's which is um, very much not what paganism is about.
Right.
It's very much or at least Northern European Germanic paganism. It's very much a honor culture. So if you're gonna break your own rules and yeah, just be all ego, then you know you can't really call yourself a pagan. And I got so sick and tired of all that nonsense that I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it myself.
Right.
I have enough experience. I've seen plenty of times how not to do it. So
Trial and error.
yeah, a lot of error, a lot of trial.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, since I want to say like 4 years now, the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans is a thing. We also have our legal religious aspect because we are trying to get it from a what is now mostly online community to a IRL
Oh,
community.
wow.
Really trying to get our own grove, our own own piece of land, so we can like actually have tribal lands. So the legal side of things is the Grove of Odin.
Wow.
And you can find all of that on www.greyhornpagans.com. And if there's something that you want to know and it's not on the website, just send us a message, goes directly into my inbox. I'll reply pretty much right away because I mean, podcasting, blogging, that's what I do for the moment. I'm in between
Right.
jobs and I don't mind it at all.
Okay. Between your jobs, what's your job?
Mm, well, I used to work a lot in security and handhaving.
Hmm.
Um, but security, I mean, you really can't do anything. You're a civilian with a V on your chest.
Yeah.
That's about it. Handhaving, let's say for your English audience, local, like very local law enforcement. Um, I get tired of the politics. I get
Mm,
tired of the political games being played. I don't do politics,
right.
let alone at my workplace. So, and now I'm just yeah, podcasting, blogging, doing a lot of things to gain experience as a radio tech. So
Oh, wow.
mixing, mastering of audio for the radio. So I work at Radio Haarlem, local radio station, once a week, and yeah, that's a lot of fun. I always
Right.
wanted to do more with music and sound and whatever. And now at Radio Haarlem as a volunteer, like it's not paid, but hey, it gets me experience. It gets me the right kind of connections, and I like doing it. So
Right. This is a beautiful segue, though, because I told you just before you hopped on, and for the listeners, this is going to be completely new. I'm just back from Peru, and I had some downloads, divine downloads, whatever you're going to call it. Um, I'm going to ask my guest right away the 14 questions, so you will know him a little bit more better before we have the complete interview. So I hope you're ready for it, Stein, because some of them are really hard and
yeah,
some
bring it
of
on,
them
man.
are really really easy. So my first one will be, what's your favorite color?
Oh Christ. Um,
Not
I'm gonna say
Odin?
red.
Oh shit, no, I did
My
something
favorite.
with my screen. Oh, there it is again. Okay, red. That was
I
right.
mean, you're good. Yeah,
What's your
red
favorite
favorite
music?
color. Um, metalcore,
Oh, nice. Like that.
core kit. Yes, sir.
What kind of bands?
Ooh, the one that I keep going back to will always be Parkway Drive. Really love Parkway Drive.
Okay.
Um, Bullet for My Valentine because I used to be that emo kid as well. So Bullets that's always good.
Right.
Um, Gosh, I mean it's more towards deathcore, but Whitechapel, Suicide Silence,
The
In
real hard
Your
stuff, right? So it's
yeah, like the real hard stuff, like going crazy in the pits and getting beat up and beating other people up, but
oh,
having fun doing it.
right, with
Like
the
that.
smile on your face, get kicked, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You're getting kicked in the face. You're like, this is great.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my thing to go because I went to hardcore punk, metal, hard rock, all
Nice.
that kind of stuff. So that's stage diving and moshing. That's what you do. It's not like Sunday dance. It's something completely different. Um, what's your favorite movie or series?
Of course, scene. That's awesome.
Have you heard the question? Because I think.
You're kind of freezing up there.
Oh yeah, now I'm good, right? Because I just skipped to my data.
No, the connection.
Yeah, not a connection, which should be better because I got few messages of unstable, but it should be good right now. What's your favorite movie or
Okay.
series?
Ooh, my favorite movie of all time will always be The Crow with Brendan Lee, the original one.
I just have to be honest with you that I never saw it. The Crow.
Ooh, you're missing out, man. You're missing out.
Well, I got
It's
some time left
such
when I'm not
a
doing podcasts or work or working on my other creative stuff. So
I
sometimes you
mean
have to just
the yeah, but the original one with Brendan Lee, the 1996 one. There are multiple Crow
okay,
movies, and of course, recently a new one came out. But the one with Brendan Lee will always be the original one, the actual one, very
right.
much
Did he died
a
afterwards?
during
During? Oh
during
shit.
yeah, and that's also kind of why the movie got the cult status that it has.
I'm gonna dig into that, especially now that I'm more not awake or stuff. I've been awake since I opened my fucking eyes. So well, since I know a little bit more, or I think I know a little bit more, since went down the rabbit hole and don't crawl out because you can't. If you go to like favorite series, what would that be?
Ooh. um I really liked Twin Peaks.
Like a little bit of wicked stuff?
It's very occult. It's
It
very
is.
occult, but I do like it. I mean that's why I started watching it because good friend of mine actually from the Occult Rejects podcast, he like was going on and on about like how it's just so amazingly occult, and then I started watching it and I started seeing a lot of the things that he saw, and I was like, holy shit! Like, first of all, this is just an awesome series. Like, it's really cool,
Yeah.
but damn, there's some occult shit in this.
It's like 90s, right? 90s.
um,
Twin Peaks, yeah. 2000s, maybe?
yeah, to 2000s, but the majority of the series is set in, I believe, like the 1960s.
Right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's a very good show to watch. Like, it's very entertaining. The characters are very entertaining, very unique. Like, each one
Hmm.
is pretty unique. Um, and then just if you see the layers underneath, you can like really enjoy that too.
And it's not like 15 or 20 seasons, right? As nowadays, when you watch a series, like,
Oh,
oh, this is a great
yeah,
season. Oh, there's another one coming up, and another one, and another one. And it's all been the milking cow for the same stupid stuff.
yeah. No, a lot of seasons have that nowadays. Or they get a second season while they definitely do not deserve a second season.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's why I
And
like it when I talk to my guests when I got some hints like a movie and stuff like that. I got a hint from Jaguar a while ago, like, oh, Apocalyptico. You got to see it from Mel
ooh,
Gibson. I watched it
that's
yesterday.
that's a brutal one.
That's a
Sheesh.
yeah, but I mean, it's a brutal one because they were brutal. What
It
you expect, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's accurate. It's accurate. That's the whole thing. It's accurate.
Yeah. It's the
But
same with the Passion
sheesh.
of Christ. I never saw it, but it should be like, whoa, holy shit. Well, what
I
do you think when you bearing a cross up a hill and you've been beaten down by Romans? What kind of movie do you expect, right? That's
Yeah,
just it's so
true.
stupid that people have
I
a
I tried watching The Passion of the Christ, but I couldn't get into it.
too much
Uh
blood,
no, no, it didn't grip me.
right? Like
And
religious kind of stuff.
I don't mind religion, even if it's very, opposed and juxtaposed
Hmm.
to my way of life. I don't mind it. I can watch it objectively. That's perfectly fine. But if a movie in like the first 10, 15 minutes, if it doesn't do it for me, I'm just gonna turn it off. Like, you know, I'm a simple man. You
Right.
gotta grip me in the first 10, 15 minutes. If you haven't by then, yeah,
Waste of
well,
time. Skip it.
you tried.
Right. What's your favorite book, Stein?
Ooh. Shit, that's a good one. I have read a lot of books in my life. Um, oh, actually, it's a book series that I have. I think it's the only book series that I have watched or have read multiple times, like as a series. Um, I have it in my bookcase behind me, but um, I don't know the name exactly. But the premise is like it's set in a kind of an alternative timeline, Italy, and then like traveling with um oh, crap. Hold on.
Always.
I'm just
I
gonna
got the
grab it.
same thing going. If I do podcast, my mind is just fucking blank. Just like, huh?
No, like I know the titles, but I know it's a series. Give me one sec.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I know where they are. I mean they're teen books, but they're so well written. And now that I've grown a larger understanding of esoterica and all of that, I can appreciate it on a whole new level. One sec.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, sure,
so
sure.
excited.
I'm gonna get my tea while we're doing that second. Nobody knows. All right, fella, you just a small break. Right, and we're back. Oh, I just forgot my tea when I went to the
Okay,
podcast.
so
So
there there are four books actually. It's Stravaganza.
Stravaganza,
Stravaganza.
Stravaganza, the
Yeah,
city of masks.
City of Masks, which is set in a, as you may have guessed from the title, a alternative Venice, like an alternative timeline Venice,
Hmm.
City of Stars, City of Secrets,
Uh-huh.
City of Flowers. And I think like these four books, all of them I have read at least two two times, maybe three.
Wow. Wow. So you are a real reader, right? Because I
Oh yeah.
can, I wrote some books,
I'm a bookworm. It's in the family.
right?
My
Okay.
my dad has a huge library of his own books. My sister really loves to read. Even my daughter, 9 years old, sweetheart, she has her own mini library in her room.
You know, that's something that's really valuable because once they're gonna flush the digital libraries on the internet, you still have the copy of the stuff that's really
Yeah,
important.
I mean the Internet Archive has been hacked a few times
Oh yeah.
already, and that's like the Internet Archive. That's where everything is.
And not to mention that some people have a PDF and all of a sudden some words are out. So when once you connect to
Yeah,
the internet, they just can, oh, that file, when that comes up, just delete this shit. Oh, wait a minute.
yeah, yeah, like retroactively changing the document. That's been done. Yeah,
That's crazy.
it is. I mean, the internet, like, it's absolutely great. I mean, we definitely wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the internet. Like, you wouldn't have a podcast, or not. I mean, probably both of us wouldn't have a podcast, like, or maybe like tinkering with pirate radio, as they did like
Right.
way back in the days. Um, but I mean, like for all its benefits, it has its downsides too. Like it's very much a double-edged sword. And I mean, um the people in charge, let's call them that. They're not elite. They're definitely not the actual elites.
Mhm.
But the people in charge, they definitely are seeing the dangers of the internet. That's why they're trying to censor it so heavily.
Yeah, it's too much knowledge that you can find. 30 years ago, you couldn't. You have to go to some people in the village, and they would say, "Oh, wait a minute, you're going far too off."
Yeah,
Nowadays, you can just type it in, and you can have well, not the wisdom, but the knowledge that you maybe know something, because that's another
yeah,
question, right? If you know it, is that the truth? Because they can say whatever. If you go to a normal Google machine and you find the truth or something that they say that's the truth, be careful.
exactly. Always like stay skeptical.
Yes, that's one of my favorite shirts in my T Public shop. Oh, disclaimer, a little bit of come on, I gotta keep the lights going. Mr. or Mrs. Skeptic. There you got it.
Ah, nice.
Stein, what's your favorite drink?
Beer. I'm always,
Just
I'm always,
like,
I'm always good for a beer.
all right, in a horn or just in the glass,
Ooh, horn if there is one,
right?
but most people still use glasses. But like then actual beer glass and
Right.
either Hertog Jan or Grols. Don't come at me with that Heineken,
No,
whatever,
no, no.
whatever,
No,
whatever it's supposed to be.
it's like drinking water in no what was it? Oh no, I don't know. I don't say it because it was close to water because it was yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
What's your
no,
favorite food? You know, I think you know that the saying that
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
going
yeah.
there,
I
but I
know.
can't spell it, so just fuck it. Right?
It's fine.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, shit, that's another good one. Like I love to eat. I am my father's son. I'm definitely, from father's side of the family, they're all very, lovers of good food and good drink.
Burgondis?
Yeah. Yeah, very much. They start out just, slim and athletic, and then they get a desk job and they just explode.
Inflatable. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I have to keep training.
Right.
Train to eat and eat to train. So
Mm.
but favorite food, sheesh. That's um oh man, like I like everything. There is not, yeah. Oh Christ.
I think it's
You know
also a little
what?
bit of a Dutch way because we don't have any like haute cuisine, like pea soup, echt soup. Okay, yeah, andijvie stampot. Oh wow, we don't have a cuisine because we had two big harbors like
Yeah.
Rotterdam and in Amsterdam. And all the stuff that we eat comes from there, like Chinese food, like shawarma, whatever, Indian food, whatever. That's all. We don't have anything like that. People can discuss that with me, fine.
Uh,
But if you say that bitterballen and a frikandel is like Dutch cuisine, maybe it is, but well, think again, right?
well, I mean, yeah, but that's also, it's cold up here, so all the foods have to be fatty, they have to be starchy, they have to get us, through the cold winter. That's why, stumbled like a lot of potatoes,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of potatoes.
Or I was thinking about herring, matches. New herring
Oh,
with onions.
oh, I do like that
Me
actually.
too. I smell like a shit for about 2 days, but it's so good. The fats you're going to get into your body, it's so good.
Oh yeah, just the omega fats and all of that. Yeah, if we're talking Dutch cuisine, like proper Dutch cuisine, just herring, like
Just
herring with
herring.
some chopped onions, maybe like a pickle slice or two, but preferably just herring, onions. That's it. Like I'll have that any day. I mean, my wife, she's American, but so she absolutely hates it. Raw fish, what? Yeah, raw
Yeah,
fish.
it's if you say that to people like tourists, it's like, oh my God. We
But
think
like,
that the Japanese are weird with their fish and their sushi. We eat it raw.
yeah,
Something like,
and like
whoa.
the whole fish raw. I mean, like
Yeah, yeah.
with sushi, it's prepared, and it's like in a sushi roll, and you got this, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, make it nice. But we're just like, nah, fish hop.
Yeah, It's the same thing that shit. What for Pulp Fiction? One of the first lines have been say like John Travolta to
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson. You know what they put in the French fries in the Netherlands? No, man, mayonnaise. What? That's something like, oh yeah, mayonnaise, jongen.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in France? A royale with cheese.
Reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh man, you
uh
gotta love the Dutch.
yeah, I mean we're definitely one of a kind people.
I think we probably were like the Watergeuzen, the really Germanic, the
Oh,
ones that were on the
yeah,
land.
man.
We're going to talk about it later because that's exactly where I want to point out in this podcast with
Dude,
paganism, for example.
I'm from Leiden. You know, the Watergeuzen literally saved my hometown.
Right, right. Oh, I'm basically from Germany and took foot on the Netherlands not that long ago, since I was born, basically.
Hmm,
But I have a lot of things going with German, like a tutorial waltz, stuff like that in Hamburg. I'm gonna tell you a story about that too. You can find on YouTube. This is gonna be for the rest of the podcast. Some stuff that I
sure.
want to fire on you. I love that. Okay, what kind of clothing you like to wear the most, Stijn?
Just comfy clothing. You know, just give me a good baggy sweater um and baggy sweatpants, sport pants. Like that's especially, you know, it's well, I mean, that's like for in the winter. In the winter, just, you know, give me baggy, give me, and you know, that's fine. But in the summer, like spring, summer, when it's sort of warm, like it's still the Netherlands, so like it's never really gets
Right, you can
actually
freeze your
warm.
ass off in August.
Then you know, like I'm still that core kid, still a hardcore kid, so shorts and a tank top.
Ah, yeah, cool. Yeah, and some Vans underneath, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely Vans.
yeah.
Yeah, I used to be like a like black Converse, but now I've like kind of grown more into Vans actually.
I
It just look
love the
it.
look of the Converse, but they're so fucking uncomfortable. Even if you go to a rock and roll concert like I do, drinking whiskey, smoking every shit that I ever done in my life, when you're on Converse, like, how the hell do you make it to the day, you know? But when
You
people
don't.
step on your foot, you're done. When
Yeah,
people spill some beer, you got soaking wet socks. I
and
mean,
your shoes are ruined.
the shoes are ruined exactly. They look great, but comfortable, none, none.
I mean, they're the classic rock and roll shoes, of
Yeah,
course, you know, and they go with everything. But it just indeed because they're, you know, because they're canvas,
yeah, it,
there's no give. They're like appropriate only for when it's dry. If it gets a little cold, your feet are freezing. If it's a little wet, I mean that your feet are freezing too, but just because it's wet.
right.
I mean, they're great, but they suck at the same time.
It's good for photo shooting, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, for sure. You know, if you're doing a rock and roll photo shoot and you don't know like what kind of footwear you want, just some basic black Converse and you're good.
Exactly. Just like you said, I love the looks. I love the looks. So if you want to sponsor me, just hit the record button or just want to write me a mail and you listen to this podcast like, oh, fuck you. No, no, no. Send them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, you know, likewise, fans, Converse. I mean, like
Yeah.
I got my own show
With a
too.
pagan twist, with some runes on it. Hey, this
Oh,
is the
dude,
fucking $1 million thing that you
Co-
got to
Co-
do.
Converse with the Mjolnir. That'd be awesome, though.
Oh,
That'd be really
are
cool.
we gonna give them too much ideas? We're still broken. They gonna make some money out of it. Wow, that's
Oh
like,
shit! Like, oh, you'll see. Like they'll like next season they'll come out
yeah.
with a shoe just like that, and we're like,
Oh, we got
hey,
something new.
no, you don't. You stole that from us. Give us some freaking credit.
Right.
Good luck proving it. We're a $1 billion company.
Oh, we record this shit and we're gonna put it out. We
Oh,
and we got lawyers too. We're not gonna
hell
say
yeah.
who it is, but we got lawyers too. Oh, great, man. Stein, what's your favorite holiday destination or vacation? Because in America and in England, you have two things, like a holiday and a vacation.
Yeah. Um, I've been fortunate enough to have traveled a lot already with my parents, so I've seen a lot of the world already. Um, just thinking back about all the places that I have been, I think the one that left the biggest impression on me is China. Just because, like, once you, even when you get to the airport, like you get out of the plane and into the actual airport,
Right.
there's such a stark difference. Like you're truly, truly, in a different country, different world almost. Just the you still have your big Western brands here and there, preferably not, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's no comparing East and West, and there is no place that makes it more obvious than China. But there's such amazing parts of China. It was such a great trip. So yeah, I think China has left the biggest impression on me.
It's beautiful out there.
It is. It
I
is.
mean, not
It's
in the
really.
cities. It's something like completely different than Western cities. But I think once you go out of the city, it's just like, wow,
Yeah. Once
wow.
once you go more to the countryside, like the rice fields and all of that, or just the smaller cities, it's it's really cool. It's really
Mm.
beautiful, and it's such an old culture.
Oh, yeah. Thousands of years of dynasties and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's still visible, in the games they play. The way of building things, the dishes that they serve, like um it's funny you were talking about like Chinese food and how it's imported here. we
That's
don't
not
eat we don't eat actual Chinese food. Like we just get it, freaking bak bami and bak nasi and
Bruh, from a
like.
Chinese person, but it's not Chinese food.
No, I mean, like those are side dishes, like you get just a small bowl and you fill that up with some rice or some nasi. But the actual main dishes are very well prepared meats and very well prepared vegetables with a lot of spice. So, warning for all the Westerners who want to travel to China: get some Imodium because you're gonna have the shits.
Oh, I had the shits too, but I think it was ayahuasca.
Oh, that yeah, that'll do.
That
That'll
will
do. That
do. That will
that'll
do.
that'll cleanse you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I got two, four, five, six more questions, but these are will be hard.
Bring it on.
All right. What's your definition of the devil?
I don't have one. I don't believe in a personification of the devil. I do believe evil exists,
Right.
but not the devil.
No,
Like
no,
not
not a
not
red
not
puppet with the
with the horns and the pitchfork and the
yeah, yeah.
and the tail and whatever. Nah, I don't believe in that. I do believe in evil. I
Hmm.
mean, gosh,
Yeah, look
if
around you, turn on the fucking
yeah,
TV, you just
exactly. If
right.
you don't believe in evil, then like, or what are you doing?
Right.
Um, I mean, but actual personification of the devil, nah, there is not one entity or one semi divine being.
Mm-hmm.
Can you call it even divine? I don't know, but nah, I
Okay.
don't. So I don't really have one.
And what's your interpretation of definition of God?
Which one?
That's the best answer. That's the best answer. Um, we got the Old Father, which is Odin for a lot of people,
Yes, sir.
and then you got a lot of divisions of other, like Christ, Buddha, whatever. Um,
Buddha wasn't necessarily a God. He was
No,
more.
Jesus
He
wasn't
was.
God either. He was a prophet.
Yeah, exactly.
Nomad too.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're not
Um,
gods.
I um I honor the old European gods, the old Germanic gods, Wotan, Donar, Tivas, Freya. Um, but I do believe that the other European pantheons that they do exist as well in one form or another.
Okay, so Hercules and Zeus and
Yeah, or even the Slavic pantheon, which is very much like the Germanic pantheon.
Mhm.
But I think it's an expression of the people, an expression of the land.
Right.
But I think in its purest form, it is still polytheism or animism, which basically comes down to the same thing. Animism is more like nature is divine, and the divine is nature.
Hmm.
Polytheism is like kind of personifying it. I think we as a species, as beings, we did that to better understand them.
Right.
If we put a name to things, if we put a face or a archetype to things, it helps us understand what is just so far above us.
Hmm. Nice one. What's your interpretation of value?
Ooh, you're asking all the right questions, man.
Thanks.
um, well, you create your own value. Value isn't anything materialist.
Mhm.
I mean, everyone can put a value on something. Um, doesn't mean it actually has value. So value is very much personal. It's what you think is valuable is valuable. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's I don't hmm, a true definition, like a one word definition. I don't think I have one, but it's non physical and very personal. You create your own value.
Right. So last definition question. What's your interpretation of definition of success?
Being able to do what you love.
Love that one. Yeah. Okay, so we got last two questions. I know that the last four are just a pain in the ass,
That's fine.
but hey, that's okay, right? So,
Sure.
what's your favorite quote?
Ooh, I got a few that I really like. Um, let's see. I think the there are three that have stuck with me forever. Um, Confucius. I believe that was Confucius. Signs and symbols rule this world, not rules nor laws. Um, then from the original Crow movie, Mother is the name for God on the lips and hearts of all children.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I
Wow.
especially with the scene in the movie when that's being said, it's a powerful statement. Um, and I one that I can't really see, but I have it tattooed across my chest. All shall fade, which is in reference to the third Lord of the Rings movie, Pippin's song in the White City, like near the end of the movie during the final battle, because that song has left such a impression on me. There's so much emotion and pain
Hmm.
in that song, but yet it is so so beautiful in its pain. And it's also just a good reminder, all shall fade. You can interpret it like, so like all shall fade. Okay, good. So shit's worthless. No, 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 no. That makes it worth something because it will eventually fade. And also the bad things, if you're going through a rough time in life, also like that too shall fade.
Right, right.
Eventually it will come to pass.
And also us, if you have a hard life, once there will be an end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
mean,
it's not in a depressive way, just like,
no, no, no,
oh no.
no.
It's like something beautiful, like just like you said, if you're having a hard time, well, embrace it because good times come after. What
Yeah.
they say here in the Netherlands is like behind the clouds, the sun shines.
Yeah.
Although I have something like really fucked up that I just posted on TikTok. I don't know if you saw it. I don't think you saw it yet because I posted it yesterday. I swear to God, Stein, we were 1 hour before landing in Madrid.
Yeah.
It
Saw
was
that one.
pitch dark in this in the fucking airplane. Not with the blinds, because the blinds were open. It was
Yeah.
pitch dark.
I
Makes
saw that
no
one.
fucking sense at 2 o'clock p.m. So for the Dutch guys, 2 uur 'smiddags. Pitch dark. At 14:21, when they said we're going to arrive within 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I don't know, look at the video, there was the sun. Where the fuck was the sun like an hour ago? When I was flying more than, well, sun comes up at 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So more than 6 hours in Western Hemisphere. Where the fuck was the sun?
Yeah, there's something up with that.
There's something going on. But okay, that's me just bragging about conspiracies.
Yeah, no, I mean, the shape of the earth and whatever. It's not a discussion that I like to get
That's
into, but
yeah,
I do believe it's not entirely what we've been told.
100%.
Um, I mean, like, who knows? For all you know, it may be freaking donut shaped.
Even if you know it, do you know it? Can you prove it?
Exactly,
That's
exactly.
that's the whole thing that I'm so and even if we're gonna prove it, like, okay, we're flying with the dildo shaped earth into the air to a butthole. I don't care, right? So what if we know that? What happens to your reality? You're still stuck on this flying dildo through the air.
Yeah, I mean that's
And the
that's
same
another
problems
reason.
are just every single fucking day. The same people are ruling.
Yeah.
They're not their intentions are not good for you. What you gonna do about it? Oh, we figured out the shape of the earth. Well, fuck it.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool. Good for you.
Right?
How does it improve your life? How does it make things like actually down here? How does it make it any better? Oh, it's flat, it's round, it's donut, it's egg,
It,
it's
it
it's hollow, it's whatever. Yeah, okay, cool. It's fun to talk about those conspiracies like, oh, what are they hiding from us? You'll never know. That's why
no.
they're hiding it.
That's why I got a t-shirt, whatever the fuck. They got it. You
Yeah,
can put it on everything, right?
yeah,
What's your genre? Whatever the fuck. What's your
yeah.
political whatever the fuck. You can put it on everything.
True.
Last
Yeah,
question before we're drifting away from the subject that we want to talk about, because I
sure,
think we're having a good time already, Stein.
for sure.
Two squirrels skipping on the branches. Last question will be, what's your life's motto?
Oh crap. Now I have to think of one. I don't. I don't really have a life's motto, actually. Um, not a single one.
Hmm.
I mean, just yeah. Nah, it's more like
I think
a
that's good in a way. Now that I think about it, because if you have a life's motto, you are indoctrinating yourself with that kind of belief.
uh
Could be.
yes and no. I think that's that too maybe a double-edged sword. for a lot of people, having one particular motto, one thing that they can, grab onto, especially in, in bad times, that really helps them. It helps them pull themselves out of the slack, out of the mud,
Hmm.
out of whatever you're finding yourself into. At the same time, there is definitely a danger that um you're letting yourself be stuck in that
Mm,
motto. So when things change, you're like, oh no, this doesn't vibe with me. This
right?
doesn't feel right because this has always been my motto. But what I just saw, what I just learned, like completely goes against that. So now my whole motto is irrelevant, therefore making me irrelevant. Identity crisis.
Exactly.
So
That's what I meant. Like,
so it's good to have. I mean, I think a value. I think that'd be better. Like not necessarily a motto, not a fixed thing, but a value, a characteristic,
right.
karaktereigenschap to like hold on to that. And for that, for me, would be um honor.
Hmm. Wow. Okay, we just skipped through 14 questions. Now let's get into the subject.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
a lot of people do not know, even Christians that are very populated in this world, that a lot of paganism is find nowadays in our just in our normal daily lives.
Yeah,
If you take a look at the strong days, as I prefer to say, not the weak days or weekends, I have strong ends.
sure.
Um, we got Sunday, which is based for the sun. We got Monday, the moon. Tuesday, Tyr, or
T
yeah,
Tiras
Tyr. Tyr is yes.
tier. Yeah,
Wodan is Odin. Thursday, Thor. Freya, Friday, and then we come back to Saturn Day. Okay,
yes.
so that's one of the things that I want to touch based on.
We
What
haven't had
is paganism?
paganism is polytheism. It is the belief in multiple gods or multiple divine entities. That's just very broadly speaking. So it's a very usually more nature based religion. Um, you could say that uh, like even the African tribes are pagans, but they're African pagans because most of them believe in multiple gods or
Mhm.
multiple deities or see nature as something divine or evil at times. Um, so that's also very pagan. It's a very pagan mindset. Um, but if you like take the literal definition of paganism, paganas, people living outside the city, people living in or on the country, heathens, people of the heath.
Right.
It's
So,
kind of it's used by Christians usually as a more derogatory term, like
mhm.
you're freaking pagan
You don't
heathen.
believe you're a pagan. You're a heathen.
Yeah, and it's like yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So,
What else is new? Yeah, I'm a
right.
pagan. Yeah, I'm a heathen. Okay.
Mm,
I mean, if you look up the definition on Google or any search engine, I don't recommend using Google. Um, like it'll also say, which I find very interesting, atheistic. That
huh?
a heathen is kind of or is comparable or equal to a atheist, which is
Okay. Let me
completely
sink that in.
backwards. That's completely backwards. Atheism is believing that there is no God. I believe, or know rather, that there are multiple.
Hmm.
How? I don't
I
know.
think I think I know the answer because they're not in the way that you're going to say, "Oh, it's Jesus Christ." So not that's not a known God, so that's atheist because you can't prove it.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait a minute. How do you prove your God then? And what really fascinates me is,
source.
right? It's but it goes so deep. It goes so deep because we had a time ago we had the pastafari. So they said, okay, we believe in the flying spaghetti monster.
Which
And
is a officially recognized religion,
yes,
which is
but you know why they did
hilarious
it? You know why the background why they put it that up?
as a meme.
Yeah, but they put it that up just to prove in court, like, oh, what you say is not true, you can't prove it. Aha. So that means that you can prove religion, which is a
Yeah,
good one, of course, because
yeah.
you can believe, and I respect all the belief systems. But the funny thing is, I know a guy that knows a guy. It seems like New York, right? I know a guy that knows a guy, but he's working for the Vatican, and he's a translator of the Hebrew text.
Mm,
So there's a lot. And he also translated the Bible. The word God does not exist in the First Testament
no,
when it comes to Hebrew.
it
The
references gods,
the yes,
the Elohim,
gods.
the Elohim.
Elohim, yes, which means multiple gods.
Yeah,
But then all of a sudden the church thought like, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on. We got a very commercial thing going on, like like a franchise. We don't want to put that shit out. So what about, King? Is there a king? Yeah, it's me, King James. Okay, rewrite history, please."
yeah. No, that's one thing that I always keep bringing up wherever I can. The Elohim is indeed it's a pantheon. They are multiple gods, and
Mm,
Yahweh was just one of them.
right.
It was a storm god.
A storm god.
Yeah, he was a storm god. Um, so yeah, Elohim,
Hmm.
the Elohim.
What was your path, Stein, that you came across paganism that you thought by yourself, like, oh, wow, this resonates or matches with me? I hate the word resonates, but matches with me, like, oh, this feels like something that could be me, or that could be something that I want to know more about.
Um, well, my parents were raised Catholic, Roman Catholic, so not even like the actual Catholic. Um, they fell off their faith. I mean, my father is, I don't want to say religious, but he has um every now and then when life becomes too much, he'll go to a monastery, like a silence retreat for like a week and a half, um where he can really come to himself and just talks to or converses with the divine. So he doesn't necessarily call himself religious, but he's still the most religious of all of us.
Mhm.
So so it's not necessarily that I've been raised in church as many have, um, but always been kind of surrounded by by religion. And I tried the whole Christian thing, of course, because it's the easiest accessible, and it's the one most about, of course, because it's the one that is most accessible. um
Oh, you're frozen?
yeah, there we go, sorry about that.
No props.
No, but I couldn't. The one thing that I couldn't get past was the whole believe or else.
Right, chop off with the head.
Yeah, or just like I'm my mind is like very chaotic, anyway. There are a few things that I can hyperfixate on, but other than that, I'm spread like all over the freaking place. Just ask my wife. Um, so you have to watch what you say, you have to watch what you do, you have to watch what you think. It becomes a full-time job
Hmm.
just doing that. Like you're not able to live, like actually live, because with everything, it's like, am I thinking the right thing? Am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Is this not gonna, send me to hell and whatever? So I couldn't do that. So I I let it go. It wasn't even that I fell off the faith or whatever. I never got into it. Then I already knew about the days of the week, of course, and that they're named after the Norse gods, most of the Norse
Hmm.
gods. I was a history buff. I really like history, the Romans, the Vikings, all of that. It's pretty cool. Like European history, big tough guys, awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it wasn't like the true catalyst for me was actually history Vikings, like the TV show Vikings, which is, of course, still Hollywood. So it's
Hmm.
very, very grimy and all of that. But it was uh, the um, the warrior spirit and the honor culture that um, that I felt a connection with, because I've always been very bad with injustice, whether it be injustice towards me or someone else, someone I love, someone I care about. I've always tried to fight that in one way or another. So then to see that there are gods, there's a whole culture, whole system, if you will, that is based on that has that honor, truth, value as its core. I
Hmm.
was just like, yo, yeah, this, like, whatever this is, absolutely this. um and I skipped the Viking LARP
Right.
phase, if
Yeah.
you will. Like with a IKEA rug and a like a plastic horn. Oh, hey, Odin. Oh,
Right, 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 right.
I mean, you're like, good on them, good on those people. That's fine.
Yeah.
LARPing, it's you're halfway there. Let's say that. Um, but I skipped that whole phase and like dove head first into the gods, into the culture, and um, yeah, that was, I want to say, early 20s. I think I was like 22, 23, so a good 10 years ago.
Hmm.
I was interested in it beforehand, but um, so yeah, let's say like actually walking the path for 10 years. I've been interested in it for 12, 13 years, and it really has shaped my life since, and
Wow.
has given me a lot of um always has given me something to fall back on, always something to hold on to. I love doing rituals with my wife. We mostly do the on the full moon or the new moon, or with the bigger holidays like Samhain, for example, which we
Right.
just had. Um, so there's a little magic practice in that as well, because the gods are not just divine beings. A lot of them, or at least um, Odin, Wotan, and Freya, are very powerful magicians.
Hmm.
So magic is definitely incorporated in Germanic paganism.
Hmm.
Um, and it's giving me a lot of strength. It's giving me it's giving me my core value, or strengthened it, I should say,
Right.
because I've always been about honesty and justice. And now, as I said, like seeing a whole belief system, whole lifestyle based on it, it has only strengthened it for me.
Hmm. It's funny that you mention it because it gives me always some protection. Um, they called me. I just basically went back down from Peru this week, this strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking around with the staff. I find a nice stick. I carved it with my initials in runes, and
Nice.
I travel with runes also, always.
Yeah, saw those.
So and that's something that I wanted to dig into a little bit more, but I had to be very careful. I just bought something from a spiritual kind of web stuff with some nice stones with the runes carved in it, and then I spoke to someone who said, "Oh, be careful. First of all, know what you do,
Mm-hmm.
because when you summon an entity, you better be aware who that entity is, and
And what
especially
they're
with Loki, he can fuck you up."
Loki's
Then,
a Loki's a bastard.
yeah, then she said to me, always when you do runes, take it from a branch from from a fruit bearing tree because it has to be life in it. Then carve your runes on it. What's your suggestion about that? Because I bought the book of runes, of course.
Yeah, of
But
course
to
you
do
would.
it, it says also you have to, lay them down on fire. You have to the water, the elements and stuff like that. And I want to
Like
do it
if
100%, not like, oh, I do runes.
I mean that kind of borders on the dogmatic. Like there's one way to do it, and that only that one way is the right way. Um, which I mean you still see that a lot in paganism, of course, because so many neo pagans are former Christians, so they still kind of take that dogmatic aspect with them. Um, I think if you want to do it properly, yeah, you can definitely do it like that. A fruit bearing tree, I mean, good luck finding one in Northern Europe, you know?
Well, it could be
Um,
apple tree, could be, oh, in Northern Europe. Yeah, that's going to be hard.
like,
In
you
Nordic
know,
or Sweden, just like, oh, they're only
yeah,
like
because, I mean,
spruces.
so I do understand where she's coming from, but at the same time, you could say that the oak is also kind of a fruit tree, the spruce, with the
Yeah.
pine cones. I want to say pine apples, but pine
Yeah.
cones.
What's it called?
Yeah, then apples,
Then
pine
yeah,
cones.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
with an oak, you got the ahorns.
the acorns, the
Yeah,
eichel's. I
yeah.
mean, we got a lot of eichel's, but
Oh yeah, this was an inside joke.
yeah, no, but so you could say like those are kind of the fruits of Northern Europe,
Hmm,
nuts and seeds and all of that, because that's what we have here because of the colder climate.
right.
Um, so oak tree is very much Thor, is very much Donar, strong, sturdy,
Very
doesn't but
powerful.
yeah, doesn't budge. That's Thor. That is
Right.
100% Thor. You got the ash tree, the elm tree, the ash tree being, of course, the Yggdrasil,
Hmm.
ash and elm, the first two humans given life by Odin, created together with his two brothers, Vili and Ve. Um, so fruit trees, yeah, but more so than that, I'd say get proper Northern European trees. So the spruce, the oak, the ash, the elm.
Yeah, but they're
Um,
bearing fruits too, but we're not eating them, right?
I mean, you can, but not all of them.
Right,
Like
and you have to prepare them very careful, right?
yeah, with castanhas, beukennootjes, that kind of
Hmm.
stuff, chestnuts, whatever the other one's called in English, I don't know. Um, but there are only certain ones that you can eat, and some you can't even eat raw because they're highly poisonous.
Right.
Um, which is just nature's way of saying like, don't eat me. Yet we found a
Like
way.
if you end up in the hospital, you're fucked. No, no, you just learn a lesson. Don't eat me.
Yeah, and still we found a way to eat them. It's like,
Right?
don't eat me. Challenge accepted.
Yes.
um, so I mean, fruit trees, actual fruit trees, yeah, but that's more southern Europe because that's it's warmer there. You got the olive trees, you got the orange trees. I guess apple trees. Apple trees are kind of northern Europe. We have a lot of good apple trees here, apple
Yeah.
orchards,
Pears,
especially
apples.
yeah, especially near where I live. I live in the Flower Bowl region, the Bollenstreek. So we have like good apple orchards here.
Mhm.
Um,
Cherries,
yeah,
cherry trees. Yeah.
yeah.
So how do you prepare yourself, or how do you do a ritual? Is it something like, oh, Wicca, witches, because people are saying that, and it's like, no, 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 no. It's just like if you go when you wake up and you do your stuff that you always do, that's a ritual too, right? It's not
your
like, oh,
morning
we're gonna
your morning ritual. Everybody, like even without thinking, calls it their morning ritual. You
right,
do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you do this, then you can get your day started. And
right.
in that order, because if you mix up the order or mess up the order
You're
or
fucked.
whatever, it's just like I skipped something, or
Right,
I had to cut it short, and now I'm not feeling it. Like we literally call that our morning ritual.
right.
So, uh, how do you do a ritual? However, you think a ritual is done.
Hmm.
A ritual can be anything. It really can be anything. It usually, um, if you want to do like a proper ritual, like a more of a grand or grander ritual, you have to offer
Mhm.
something for the Norse Germanic gods. It's usually some sort of an alcoholic beverage, but something strong like a whiskey or a mead or if you're doing it for a Thor for Donar, just good mug of beer, like he'll appreciate that.
Mhm.
Um, and
Will you drink it yourself for him,
uh,
or you give it to him and it will be empty in the end of the ritual?
well, not physically emptied.
Hmm.
I mean, not always. At least it can happen, of course, but it's more you're offering the essence of
Right,
it.
right,
So what I did with my like my little Samhain ritual that I did for myself is I offered incense. Incense is always that's always a good offering. It's just um it's herbs. It's very natural, very aromatic. So very basic. You can get it everywhere, but it's still good. And a shot of whiskey, one for Wotan, and then I took a shot myself as well. That's
right.
just that's how I did it. But if you like really want to do like a proper ritual for Wotan, for Odin, self-sacrifice. So you have to because that's what Odin is about. That's how he um, came into possession of the runes and the knowledge and use of the magic of the runes. He had to sacrifice himself to himself.
Right, losing his eye and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how he became such a powerful magician. Of course,
Mm,
he sacrificed so much of himself to gain that. And I'm not saying that if you like want to properly worship Odin, you have to like pluck out your eye. Don't. Probably even Odin is gonna look at you like, dude, no. Why?
right.
Don't be stupid.
Right.
Um, but you have to sacrifice something of yourself, whether that be like a bad habit or
Right. Stop
something.
smoking or stop drinking beer, maybe.
Yeah, or just minor things like you'll improve something like, oh, I've been lacking in that. Well, Wotan, Odin, if you help me, not if you give me, but if you help me get
Mm-hmm.
that, or if you help me achieve that, I will improve this, or I will stop doing that.
Right. Love that. I really love that. So when it comes to uh it, okay, the question will be, is paganism a religion or is it a way of life with a belief system?
I would say it is a way of life with a belief system, at most
Mhm.
a spiritual path,
Right.
but more so a way of life, a way of being.
Mm.
There are, of course, divine entities, divine, gods and other entities attached to it, but a it's not a religion as we know religions to be, of the three, major Abrahamic ones. Of course, like
Right.
we don't go to the temple or the shul or the church every every Sunday, and we don't, like say grace before we go to bed. Doesn't that Then again, that doesn't mean that if you want to do that, you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely prostrate yourself before the gods. If you want to do that before bed, before every meal, go ahead. That's also the
Mm-hmm.
beautiful thing about paganism. There is no like right way of doing it,
Right.
because we don't have a Bible. We don't have one
Exactly. That's
we don't
that's
have one text or one book or one prophet that says this is how it should be done, then this, then this. If you wanted to do this, then that. If you do this, then this is the consequence.
right.
We don't have that.
None.
So, I mean, the closest thing would be the Havamal, the teachings of Odin, but still, that's not like, those are more guidelines. It's like how
Right.
Odin feels that you should do things, but if you do it like that, or you tweak it to your own liking, or how tweak it to the modern times, because
Isn't it something that
those texts were of course written hundreds of years ago, so
right.
the exact practice, a lot of things are illegal now, so you can't practice exactly like our ancestors did. So, even that.
Oh,
So,
illegal when it comes to offering and stuff like that?
yeah, a lot of that, or like the whole honor system. If someone, like if a man calls another man a bitch, for example, like an actual,
Kill him.
it's yeah, that's degrading. That's an attack on his character. That's an attack on his honor, and you should avenge it. If you do
Right.
that now, you'll end up in jail.
Yeah, but I think that the real point of it is a good point. Like don't be bitching around with the divine being as we all are. We are
Yeah,
all light beings. Um,
I mean, we
which really
are
fascinates me with the words is that it's something like uh we talked about it before about nowadays where we're living in this kind of reality. Uh, all the churches, not all of them, but the first church has been stolen from the pagans. The altars were
here in
there from
Europe.
the pagans.
Here in Europe, definitely
Yes.
they
Yes.
were. I mean, I'll give it to them in that regard. They were very smart about it, in like a very sneaky bastard kind of way.
Right.
Because I best example that I have is if you were a outlaw, you know, in like actual heathen times, being an outlaw literally meant you're outside the law. So
Hmm.
whatever happens to you is valid. There is no punishment for it because you're outside the law.
Right.
If you wanted to be protected, if you wanted to be safe, that is in the times that like Christianity was already kind of taking over Europe. The only place you were safe as an outlaw was in the church.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
you have a choice: be an outlaw, literally outside the law, outside of society. If you're killed, you're killed. That's it. If you're
Uh-huh.
robbed, you're robbed. That's it. Doesn't fucking matter. If you want to be safe, go to church. Find your church, go in there, and then you have divine protection because obviously your gods are not protecting you. Our God will.
Oh shit.
So it's very clever, but it's a bastard move.
Yeah, but also with Eastern, it's paganism.
Yeah, the feast of
Christmas,
feast of fertility.
yeah, yeah. Christmas, our thing.
Yeah,
And a
you
lot
know.
of people I know, the funny thing, I have a lot of friends which are real Christians, and I
Mm,
love them, but I can't agree with them. Even if I point these things out, oh no, it's because no, 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 no. You just screwed up the first line. It's like you are not the word, as Milton Ocampo, which has a great podcast nowadays, says. You are not the word. You are saying the word. That's the wrong thing. You should be
mhm.
the word.
Put the Christ back in Christmas. There never was any Christ in Christmas.
No, and it's only 2,000 years old. So but paganism, hedonism, what's the other one? Hinduism is 3, 4,000 years older than
Yeah,
the book that they written in Abrahamic, like Jewish, um,
Muslim.
Islam, and
Yeah,
Christianity. So it's a franchise formula for me. No.
yeah, it is. And I mean, I don't. Um, I have learned a lot more about Christianity, about actual Christianity throughout the years, especially hosting my own podcast. I get to talk with a lot of different people, which I absolutely love. I've learned more in my I want to say like 4 years of podcasting than I ever did in school. Um, so I do see like the very basics of Christianity is just a very proper mystical school, if you
Mhm.
will. The teachings of Christ in its very core are not bad teachings. It's the
No.
church that is corrupt. It is the institution that is the church that is corrupt. The you know and But of course, since the church speaks for God, speaks for Christ, that corruption seeps deeper and deeper, and like it goes to the top, takes the corruption down with them.
Mm.
So it's a proper mystical school. There are proper mystical teachings at its core, but it's very much the institution, it's very much the church that gets corrupted. But because of that, they also spread a corrupted kind of Christianity, a corrupted message, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because a good friend of mine, Soraya, she's a wonderful lady. She is very much Christian, but she acknowledges that there are other gods. She
Mm.
acknowledges that there is strength and beauty and power in paganism, but she is Christian, but still a very pure Christian, and like will definitely has things to say about the other so-called Christians.
Hmm.
The she'll call them out when she sees it,
Mm.
because she
Wow.
because she holds true to the actual teachings, to the true teachings, the pure teachings, and she's one of very few actually. But because she still has that pure mindset, because she still holds true to the pure teachings, that's why I consider her a good friend.
Right. Because she thinks she's like she's not closing the door when she knows a little bit about Christianity or whatever. She opens up like, okay, what's more?
Yeah, and just the fact uh that she acknowledges my gods as well. It's like,
Right.
yeah, your gods, yeah, they exist, sure,
Uh,
but they're not for me. I'm a Christian. I believe in, the true God, her God and Jesus and whatever.
mhm.
And she finds a lot of value in that. She is able to live a very good life through that.
Right.
So just by accepting that there are others and accepting the truth about actual Christianity and its corruption and whatever, it makes her already just so much better, such a better Christian than your average Christian.
Right. And the funny thing is, a lot of people do not know that uh, Jesus Christ, when you read the books, he was a really fascinating person because he didn't like any system and he studied every single thing that was on that time on earth.
Yeah,
Hinduism, Buddhism, he liked it everything. And he said, oh, this is wrong. They banned him. Okay, fuck you. He was a badass motherfucker, but he's
he
not a
was.
Christian. They're gonna connect that word Christianity to the Bible, but that's not what's happening. It's a very fascinating book about like it was an outlaw because he was questioning so many things about
He
systems,
he
about the
was
Romans
questioning the
especially, right?
establishments
Yeah,
and
yeah,
going against the establishment, but in a very mystical, religious, spiritual way.
yeah.
He's called the Lion of Judah. I mean, lions, they may be cats, but they're no pussies.
Yeah, but it's the best and the strongest cat there is. It's the king of the jungle.
Yeah, even though they live
Some
in
people will say no,
savannah,
it's
not the
not. Well,
jungle.
he is. He will fuck up every other cat, no matter what kind of cat you bring on.
Yeah,
A lion will
no,
fuck you up.
exactly. And I mean, another good friend of mine, Lodewijk, he is a very devout Catholic. He's still a good guy. He's young, so he's kind of trying to be edgy. But that's fine, And he believes in the true warrior Christ. The one who on the spot braids a whip to whip the merchants out of the temple. That Christ, the true Lion of Judah.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's Catholic, but he has that warrior mentality. He has that aristocratic mentality. So that's why I get along with him so well, because we may believe in different things, in different gods, different pantheons, because Catholicism is basically, let me copy your homework, but okay, sure, but change it up so it doesn't look like you copied it.
Mhm.
Um, so it's different, but still very much the same. So we have the same mindsets, different gods, perhaps different saints, spirits, whatever, but same the same energy, the same
Right. Like he's
like
he's a
flows.
warrior, right? He's not like a
Yeah,
pussy,
yeah,
just like, oh, now you're screwed. Now my belief system tells me now I'm gonna smack your little ass.
yeah,
I think that's a good one,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
These are
He's
my
not.
boundaries for
Yeah,
my principles and my value. And
he
now you
he
cross the line,
believes.
motherfucker. That's it.
Yeah, he believes we should be fighting. He believes that we should go to the gym. We should practice a form of martial arts, because that's what Christ wants us to be. He wants us to
Mm.
be strong. He wants us to be that warrior like he was. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you get it. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
that's Thor. For me, that's Wotan. But you know, same spirit, same energy, same warrior.
I think that's a very nice one that I just thinking about. Like if you're not prepared for, so everyone listening to our podcast is quite like fighting the system. They don't want to be attached to the establishment, to the status quo, all that bullshit. Elite, call it whatever the fuck you want. So, but if you do that, just like Christ, you have to stand up against it. That means you could be beaten up. But if you prepared yourself by, doing this survival stuff that you do, or doing workouts, or practice some martial arts or whatever, or especially get some knowledge and some wisdom in your brain, so you can, meditate for hours. That's so powerful because if you want to defeat the system, you have to defeat your own stupid, pity yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I beat the system. Let's see some Netflix. I beat the system. Let's get some Coca-Cola and some pizza.
I mean, it's fine to, um, like the system is there. It's for the time being. It's not going anywhere. That's why my belief is that, like, you can't defeat the system, or you can't fix the system. The system
Hmm.
isn't broken. It's designed that way. It's not a bug. It's a feature. Um, so like my idea would really be like you have to create your own system within the system, or like really uh just create your own system separately from it, so you can still live in society,
Hmm.
but like participate in the established system very minimally, and preferably not. So go back to the trade and barter system, for example. The old gods really coming back and making their presence known in Europe is already such a huge sign of that the system is failing, because the church is the progenitor of the system, slowly morphing into something else, and it's become one whole big
Hmm.
blob, really. Or octopus, really. Octopus, hydra, multiple heads, tentacles. um but the old gods are returning. People are seeing more and more, or questioning more and more. And if they're not seeing it, or not questioning it, at the very least, so many more people are just kind of looking around, seeing what else is there, and then eventually they're like, okay, like I'm seeing things that don't add up.
Hmm.
And like 9/11 was a huge thing for that, for like, our generation, my generation. I believe you're a bit older. um COVID was another one of those. Yeah, it was a very, very dark period. A lot of shit happened, and we're still dealing with a lot of it. But also, for so many people, and so many people that I've spoken to on my show, like, that's when they started seeing things. That's when they woke up, if you will,
Hmm.
because they were like, hold up, this doesn't add up. This isn't right. This isn't the way to do things.
Hmm.
Wait a minute, are you telling me that? And there you go. Then the ball
Right,
gets
right.
rolling, and you fall into the rabbit hole. You start discovering things. And
You're not gonna
yeah,
crawl out. You're not gonna crawl out.
no, no. If anything, you're gonna fall down more and more rabbit holes.
Right,
Because if there's one, there are at least three others attached to it.
right. What's your favorite one?
Oh, you know what? I am such a big fan of the Tartaria mud flood rabbit
Just wanted
hole.
to ask you that. I swear to God, I just wanted to ask you that.
I
Yeah.
just there is something about that, cymatics, the power of sound and vibration, star cities, um
Mud flood.
yeah, just cities underneath the city, like you start digging and you're like, holy shit, there's a whole other story of this building below
Oh
ground.
yeah.
So a two-story building has now become a three-story building just because it's been buried in what, 3-4 feet of dirt.
You saw
uh
the podcast with Joe Rogan with Randall Carlson and fuck. Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock.
I
I think they
so
did
wanna.
2 episodes, but oh, it's they going about clasmatic big events on Earth that could be in 24 hours or 48 hours. But what happens is when you are archaeologists and you're going to dig deep, like say, I don't know what it is, but like 15 feet or whatever.
Sure.
They say, oh, that's the bronze. Oh, that's this area. That's that area. But the deeper you go, there's one area that they say no go, no go. If you say that as an archaeologist, you will be into the loony bag. You're fucked up.
Yeah.
Why is that? Maybe we can find a new iPhone from 3,000 years ago. I'm not saying that we do, but it could be.
That'll be
You know,
interesting.
you because you got staple of layers that you see on rocks. You know, you see all these layers.
Yeah.
What's down there? What's I really like to look at the That's Impossible channel. Shout out to James LeFeur, which has like crazy things happening on Earth, but also like several topics, and you know about UFOs, aliens, whatever the fuck.
Mm,
It's so fucking fascinating to me.
it
You
is.
know,
And the thing is, in paganism, in Buddhism, in Hinduism, um our timeline is cyclical.
mhm.
So it happens over and over and over again.
Yes,
And that's why we also find artifacts that look so incredibly familiar, but we find them like 30 meters underground. And you're
right,
like, but that means it was like so many thousands of years ago. That doesn't add up. Like they didn't
right.
have that back then. Oh, but they did. They did. We are not the most technologically advanced that we have been.
Oh no, no, we are the real Neanderthals. Neanderthals, like the real stupid monkey people, if you believe in Darwin kind of shit.
Uh,
But if you believe
uh,
uh, maybe a little bit more advanced,
I
maybe.
mean, we are advanced, but we are not in the history of civilization. Let's say like Hyperborea, Atlantis, like all of that. Let's say,
No,
those cycles of civilization.
right.
We are, I mean, yeah, I guess you could say that compared to them, we're cavemen. We're
Yes,
we're we're as good as cavemen.
I think.
Like we think that the internet and our computers and freaking smartphones or whatever are
Mm,
so advanced, and now we have AI and all of that. Yeah, for us that may be advanced, but it's we're not peaking.
no.
We're nowhere near, and that is also because we're still so focused on the material, so focused on materialism, and that's another reason why I so love the Tataria mud flood theory, because that also goes into cymatics, the
Mhm.
study of sound and sound waves and sound
Frequencies,
patterns.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at one of my favorite example, like the big rose church windows in church that you see at the on the front with just the beautiful stained glass windows.
Cathedrals and stuff like that. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, just the art in churches, like the stained glass windows, glass and loads. It's so beautiful. The art is absolutely amazing, but they were not. That's my belief, or part of my belief at least. Um, First of all, they were not built. Like perhaps we already had those. Perhaps they were already there. There are people who say that if something is found in 18 whatever,
mhm.
it means that we found it in that year. It's not like it was founded, like then we started doing that. It was like we found it in that year. I'm not sure about that, but churches were healing centers
Hmm.
through the power of cymatics. Like you have a big brass organ, like actual brass or copper, um, and then the huge rose window with a cymatic pattern, which amplifies it. And that's, I mean, I do imagine when you're feeling that, it feels like a religious experience, like you are being lifted up. I
Sure.
can definitely imagine that. And then over the years, that got, perhaps bastardized or, covered with like, oh, that's God. Oh, that's Jesus. Oh, that's the Holy Spirit.
The
Uh,
source, as I prefer to say.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like you still have that trifecta. The
Yeah,
Son, the
of course.
God, the
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
Spirit. Still three. But
Yeah.
no, the pagans are wrong for using that. But yet you do
Oh,
it as well.
centuries. Century. Yeah, I think that really important to call out um ah fuck this name Randall Carlson, because he said, what if we think like, okay, we got the, if we have to believe the system, the mid ages, like the medieval, the dark ages, and since then we developed a little bit more and more and more. We got horse and buggy. Then we have in the late 1800s we have the industrial revolution, and now we have iPhones. We can connect to each other on screen. We can
Mhm.
listen to each other. We think we're advanced in 150 years. He said, but what if there's a civilization long way before us that developed more than 500 years or more than 1,000 years? What would they have? You know, that's so fascinating to me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to know
I
that.
mean, like it's even like the what we consider to be the ancient Egyptians, time of Cleopatra and you know those days of ancient Egypt, they already had people studying ancient Egypt
Right, right.
because the pyramids, that's a fun fact that always blows everybody's mind. Cleopatra, or the Cleopatra that we know, because she wasn't the first, of course. That's
Hmm.
like of the royal houses, everyone like it's Cleopatra the first and the second. But the Cleopatra that we know, let's say the pop culture Cleopatra, lived closer to the invention of the iPhone than the building of the Great Pyramids.
Wow.
So the Great Pyramids to Cleopatra, what we consider to be ancient Egypt, an ancient Egyptian queen, to her was already ancient Egypt.
Wow. Can you imagine that you have a heritage as a queen or pharaoh, whatever, and you wake up and you see this building just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Who made that? Oh, this is like thousands of years old or hundreds of years. We don't know.
yeah. So like,
Oh shit.
I mean, so to her, and the Roman emperors associated with her, that was already thousands of years old, and they already had people studying it. That's a crazy. It's a crazy fact, but
That's yeah.
it's so incredibly awesome, and it's not even like that big of a difference. I believe it's a couple decades or a couple hundred years,
Hmm.
but still, the iPhone and Cleopatra in the timeline. Line, it's not a line, but it's a circle, whatever. In the
Yeah.
timeline of history, are closer to each other than Cleopatra is to the Great Pyramids.
Wow. Which is also really fascinating is if we're talking to my audience like the Americans, they don't have really something to hold on from history. It's not that old. It's like 450 years old, stuff like that.
Uh,
When the Dutch people went to New York and found it, Peter Stuyvesant.
yeah.
Yeah, Columbus, who
I
was
mean,
thinking he was in India, but he called them the Indians, but he wasn't in India. He
there
was in
was already culture there. I mean, like even
for sure.
even my people, the Vikings, let's say, they were in Canada, Newfoundland, I believe, like 500 years or so before
Yeah,
Columbus.
yeah.
There
And
were
let's say,
already like kind of Viking artifacts in America before the first European settlers actually
yes,
came there, before Columbus was there. Us Northern Europeans were like, oh yeah, been there.
right. And let's say, because of course we had the indigenous American people, which we
But
call Indians now, which is stupid
but
word because they're not Indians, but the
but
indigenous
but
tribes.
even they have their stories about the
100%.
people who were there before them.
100%. And if you look at South America, that's like I was there in Peru. The Aztecs, the Incas, that's like, wow, these are civilizations. You don't fuck around with them, and they're so big. They found an article of someone who traveled down the Amazon, and he
Mm-hmm.
found, like, I think it's like 60, 70 years ago. He made what's it like a book,
Mm-hmm.
wrote down what he saw and stuff like that. And they passed by a civilization of more than 2 million people in the middle of the Amazon forest, right? So
Yeah.
he wrote that down. He was a traveler. Um, and eventually, 40 or 50 years later, they found his book. And they thought, like, okay, maybe it's interesting. We're going to find that one. So they took his book, his what's it, his diary, or what's it called? So
Yeah.
they traveled down the Amazon. Nothing, nothing. Even with the spots that he pointed out, they found the spots, but they couldn't find any civilization. But now, I think it was like 10 years ago, they have new advanced technologies where they can fly over the Amazon with some laser stuff. They found the city, which could host more than 2 million people. So
Yeah.
50 to 60 years ago, you could find a fucking city, but now the Amazon has been taken over it. I was there in the
Yeah.
Peru. If you build a house, which you normally do of wood, right? You do it with wood or with these roofs,
Woods
these
or
easy roofs.
yeah, or
Within
mud
four or
or
five
brick
years, the
or
jungle is going to take it over.
yeah.
You're not going to have a house. It's like, wow. Can you imagine what it does in 10, 15, 20, 30 years?
Yeah. And like, speaking of weird timelines, Oxford University in the United Kingdom is older than the Aztec Empire.
What?
Yeah. I believe it was Oxford University, or one of the major universities. I believe it was Oxford. Is older
Wow.
than the Aztec Empire.
And to be honest
Speaking
with
of
you,
messed up timelines.
yes, and a lot of people, what I wanted to say about America, not to be offended of stuff like that, but if you come to Europe, and here nearby there's Cologne, there's a dome, the cathedral. Damn, when you see that kind of structure, you think like, holy shit. Well, really holy shit,
Yeah,
It's
literally,
and
yeah.
and we got some cathedrals in Den Bosch. I think we got one in
Yeah,
Maastricht. These are buildings like you feel that you're not alone. You feel that you are really connected to these source. Let's call it these source. And
yeah,
what I really love to do always, Stein, is when somebody says, "Oh my God," I ask him always, "Who is your God? Which
yeah,
one?"
yeah. No,
Oh
it's
man.
yeah. Cathedrals are they're beautiful. I mean, I can absolutely admire the architecture and the art and all of that. I'm not that kind of a heathen. Like I'm not a I mean that's also kind of my problem with the a lot of the neo-pagans, who
Hmm.
are like fairly new to the path. They're not necessarily pagan as they are just anti-Christ,
Right. Yeah,
because like
that's
the church hurt them, or their religious group or whatever, like it hurt them in some way, and they're like, oh, fuck Christ, fuck this, fuck that, I'm gonna be a pagan from now on. It's like,
no.
no, then you're just doing it to, like give a big middle finger to Christianity. That's not what paganism is about, bro.
Mm. For me, if I connect to nature and I walk in nature barefooted with my staff, with my, I walk one with the skirt like things that I'm doing myself. Look like I don't know, like a wizard maybe for some people, or like a wanderer. That's okay. But when I do that, I connect to nature. That's my true being. I can
Yeah,
see on nature what is going to be autumn right now. Winter is coming, all that stuff. So we have to be prepared. Um, I really can smile when I see a butterfly coming up, or when I see some cows or whatever. Connecting to nature for me, being in nature is the spirit of God, the
yeah,
creator. And
it is.
yes, and it is, always will be, and always will be. And for me, that's like paganism is for me like having a good time with friends, maybe drink a beer, make a bonfire, having great time. When you have the solstice, we have a barbecue. That's the
Nice.
offer fest. No, have a good
Sure.
feast, have a good time. Maybe some a little bit drugs.
I mean,
Depends on.
as long as you keep it, you keep it nice, you keep it clean, you keep it civil.
100%. Respect other beings.
Exactly.
It doesn't
That's
matter where you're from, as long as you got respect back, fine.
exactly. That's
But
also
if you
one
go
one
into
of the
my
core
values
values.
or you skip them or you
Yeah.
you fuck off my belief system in my intentions or my values,
Mhm.
don't cross that line.
No, exactly. And that's such a core value of, at least Northern European paganism,
Mm,
Germanic, Norse. It's respect nature, respect your fellow beings, not even fellow humans, but fellow beings,
mm-hmm.
because animals still so incredibly important. I mean, I got two cats, and I mean, I love them to death, both of them.
Mm,
Um, but if they cross a line, if someone crosses a line, let them know they crossed that line and make sure that they don't do it again.
right.
So like it's not the whole um that's the pacified Christ, not the passion of the Christ, but the pacified Christ.
Right,
It's
right,
like
right. He's a
turn the
warrior.
other cheek. Why? So he can slap that one as well. No,
Right.
if he
An eye
slaps
for an
me,
eye, tooth for a tooth.
well, yeah, but in equal measure,
Right,
indeed.
right.
Like if you punch me in the face, you're gonna get punched back.
Yeah. It's not like, oh
Simple
my God doesn't allow that. What?
simple as that. Like violence begets violence. Yeah, sure, but
Yeah.
if someone slaps me in the face, I'm not just gonna be peace be upon you. No, fuck off. If you slap me,
No.
I'm gonna punch you right back.
Yeah. What's that? What's one of the most uh, beautiful things about paganism in your opinion?
The the strength that you can gain from it, just internal fortitude, internal strength. Because our gods, our forefathers, our ancestors, they are these incredibly strong people, incredibly strong gods. I mean, like hell, Northern Europe, Scandinavia, Netherlands, Germany. It's hard living here, especially
Oh
in
yeah.
in like autumn, winter. It's hard living, so you got to be strong. You got to
Yeah.
have
If you
that.
have no shelter, you're gonna die. That's easy peasy.
Yeah,
No
you're just
shelter, no warmth, you're gonna die.
you're gonna freeze to death because
Yeah.
nature doesn't give a shit.
No.
It's like you take care of yourself because if you don't, I mean, sorry, tough luck.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't have a shelter, you don't have a fire. Well, better find a way to keep warm because
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna do it for you. Like it's cold, and it's
Right.
gonna be cold. Prepare. Um. So yeah, just the strength and the yeah the fortitude that I myself have managed to gain from it. Like I definitely wouldn't be as strong or as resilient as I am now if I hadn't found the gods if I hadn't found the ways of our ancestors. I would absolutely still be not necessarily be lost, but still be seeking, still be searching,
Mm.
trying to hold on to something that gives me that stability, that can provide me with that strength.
It's funny that you say because one of the things I say to my Christian friends is I walk around in nature. I show you God. My God, my gods, I can show them. Fertility, Freya, Thor, like thunder and storms and stuff like that. Odin, the All Father that keeps an eye on it. If you walk in nature, I can show you my God. The God that you have, which is a beautiful one, is not God.
The pure one, yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking to the wrong thing. And the funny thing is, I think this is podcast 79 or 80. I lost count, but a lot of people don't matter where they're from, what they believe. They all have the same thing. Like God, for me, is like the source, like the divine being, the creator. It's all the same. It's all the same.
I mean,
I think, from
if
my perspective, there's a source like the ether net, right? So what we're talking about right now is all
yeah,
the information you can get your data on, and you
yeah.
got the old father. For me, it's the old father. It's not like one father that can kick your ass. Oh no, there are multiple. It's like your brother, your sister, or whatever. They can put you to the spot, you know?
Yeah, I mean, our gods are our divine family, if you will.
Yeah.
They'll take care of you, but you also have to take care of them. You have to take care of yourselves, and if you cross the line, you're gonna get smacked.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And they don't hold back. They're not gonna just take your hand and be like, "Come on, Charles, walk this way. Come on, come on." No, it's like, just fucking walk. And if you stray off the path, we're gonna try and nudge you back onto it. But if you refuse, if you're gonna like walk the wrong path or next to the path or just get lost in the woods, good luck.
Right.
You're on your own. We tried, whatever. If
Yeah, success.
if you manage to come back somehow, we'll be here. But you clearly don't want to listen. You have your own ideas. You
Mm,
think you know better than us. Good luck. See if you do.
right. There are a lot of people thinking like, oh, the Vikings, these are pagans. And I think they're not. I think
Mm,
Vikings were like a period of time that they were doing the thing, like the Viking thing. But before that, there were pagans, living people living across the land and having some animals and living off
oh,
nature.
very, very often, but that's thanks to pop culture, of course. Vikings are pagans. Pagans are Vikings.
Yeah.
They're one and the same. While actually most of the golden age of Vikingry was when Christianity already had a major foothold in Europe. So, yeah, they probably were pagan. They probably were still, heathens living on the land, off the land, polytheistic, but not not all of them.
Hmm. The biggest group of pagans lived in Estonia. I didn't know that too. I have to figure it out.
They
Maybe I'm
were
wrong because it's Google. And
they were
the
the very
Romans tried to
last
fight them,
ones.
but they lost every single battle.
Yeah. No, yeah, Estonia, they were the very last ones to be converted. And I believe there was in the was it like the 1300s, late 1200s, early 1300s, so like well into, or like even at the end of what we know to be the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages. They held on for a good long time. Latvia, Estonia, those countries, they are, and they still have that um a very strong folk religion. Like it has always been strong there,
Right.
and just so incredibly beautiful.
I think that a lot of people, if they have to choose, like if you can't choose religion, that they go into that lifestyle, right? A lot of people from cities and here in the Netherlands, but I think especially in Europe, oh, I just want to have my own crop. I want to do my own vegetables and stuff like that. Well, that's paganism. Be careful, that's paganism. But it has such a bad word to it.
Yeah,
There's so many, yeah.
and it's I mean, it goes both ways because Christianity, of course, like it got a foothold first in the major cities because everyone packed together, hardly any like real nature to speak of, so you were already kind of removed from your gods.
Mhm.
The mayor and all the wealthy people were, of course, in the cities, and if they have the backing of the church, hey, that's power. We like
Right,
power.
right.
um, but the people living on the land, off the land, they were still like literally close to our gods, close to the land spirits, the fae, the whatever entities maybe out there. They were still among them,
Mm.
so they were the last ones to either give up or convert. And that's why I love the like the last part of the story of King Redbat from Frisia. When he got the choice, convert or die, literally. It's like, okay, so if I convert, will I see my ancestors again? Will I be with my family again that you have so bloody freaking slaughtered? No, you will not, because they are in hell. If you convert and you die, you will be in heaven with people like us, the good kind, apparently.
Air hooks, air hooks. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then he basically said, you know what? Then I would rather be in hell with my family and my ancestors than in heaven with bastards like you.
Oh, for
Lever
sure.
day, lever day, a slave. I'd rather be dead than a slave.
Wow.
And they didn't take that too kindly.
Hail to Odin.
Yeah. And I think like that is such a powerful statement. And that's why his story lives on till this day. It is
Mm,
the stories through which we know our gods, through which we know our heroes.
right. Do you
We
think
don't
that paganism is nowadays a growing new kind of uh, way of life?
There is a pagan revival happening. Absolutely. You see that more and more because people are getting very disillusioned with the system, very disillusioned with the church. The major religions, at least here in Europe and kind of America, since they used to be Europeans. We gave them freedom. Look what they did.
Mm,
We never should have given that freedom.
yeah, that's true.
They fucked it up.
Oh, for sure. Big times. Big
Oh
times.
yeah,
Without any lube. No lube.
no,
Just fucked it up. Oh, no, you're just hanging again.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're
Just
back.
yeah. It's just bite the pillow. I'm going in dry. Um, but yeah, because I think because of the dissolution and everything that is happening in the world, so like so many changes and bad changes because there was already a system in place, and now a newer, even worse system is trying to be implemented. And like what's the one thing that is always there? Who are the ones that are always there? Our ancestors and our gods. They are the ones that we can always fall back on because they will
Mm.
always be there. And whether you think that, the gods are our ancestors, or that they are gods and our ancestors are separate from each other, it doesn't matter. They will always be there for us. They will always help us and be there for us when we need them. And I
Right.
think I do believe that more and more people are seeing that, are realizing that, and are seeing that the system isn't reliable, and that, yeah, the system works, but for the people who either created the system,
Hmm.
or the people who sold out to that system. But then, you gotta have some real skeletons in your closet,
Oh yeah.
some real dirt, and that's the only way that you can make it. So you
Right.
have to. I mean, that's why they say, sell your soul. It's not literally selling your soul, but selling your core values, selling your honor,
Mm.
to become rich, become famous.
Materialistic stuff.
Yeah, things that are,
False idols.
yeah, things that are perhaps great to have in this life. It makes life a lot easier if you have, a big house, couple mil in the bank. It makes life more comfortable.
Mm.
Not necessarily easier, but definitely more comfortable. But you're not going to take it with you. Like, wherever you think you're going in, after you die. I mean, the Egyptians tried it, and then, they got robbed of it, unfortunately.
Right.
So yeah, material gains, cool, only useful as long as you're still living, which is
Yeah.
why the old Rockefeller had 6 heart transplants.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
None of them killed him?
no,
Blasted.
unfortunately. I mean, he did eventually die a few years ago at the ripe old age of 101.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, 6 heart transplants.
Stijn, we have a great conversation already. 2 hours in. We can deep dive into some of these topics we could, but I think that would be good to do a part two, three, or whatever.
Yes.
Where do people can find you?
You can find everything that we do with the Greyhorn Pagans podcast, The Growth of Odin, on our website, www.greyhornpagans.com, www.greyhornpagans.com.
Hmm.
All the links are on there to the podcast, to our main group, to whatever else our members, our core members have going on. Because, connecting the tribes, connecting the communities, connecting the people with each other, you know. Um, so yeah, just go to our website. Everything is on there, including a contact form, because I know there are people who have questions, or that there are things on the website that they don't see but do want to know.
Right.
Send us an email through the contact form on our website. Goes to my inbox directly. I'll answer as soon as I can.
Wow.
And if you need more answers, join our group. Join our group on Telegram. Follow me on Twitter or Minds or whatever. Everything's found on the website. We will be happy to help. We'll be happy to answer questions that you have. Help find your path, find your answers in life, whatever it may be. So www.greyhornpagans.com for everything.
Right. Stijn, thank you, fellow human, for your time and your energy to put this episode out. Um, Hail to Odin from my time, right?
For sure, for sure. Thank you for having me, man. It's been great. I mean, 2 hours, 2+
Yeah.
hours, and we have so much more.
Oh yes, and we will. We will because I just went back from Peru. I didn't have a holiday for more than 4 years. Now I went 2 weeks just like off grid in the jungle, doing some ceremonies and stuff like that,
Good.
and found myself the warrior again. So I'm ready to rumble again.
Oh
And
yeah.
there definitely will be more of this kind of stuff, because it's not only fascinating me, it's my kind of life too. And yeah, it fascinates me, it interests me. We just have a basically a great time. So that's also what counts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are so many rabbit holes that we touched on but haven't gone into
Yeah.
yet. Like we can, I mean, we can sit here all day
Oh,
and
for sure.
all night, probably even just get some snacks, get some drinks, and we'll do this all night.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that later. For all the listeners, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. And no matter where you're on this beautiful plain earth, have a good day, a good morning, or a beautiful night. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao.